Hey guys, welcome back to Shri and Shiv Plays. In this video, we will be visiting the Pearl Harbor, which is a National Park Service site that consistently ranks among the top 3 most visited tourist destinations in Hawaii. Pearl Harbor is a lagoon harbor on the island of Oahu in Hawaii, about 6 miles west of Honolulu. It's the largest harbor in Hawaii and is located halfway between Japan and the mainland United States. Pearl Harbor consists of the following museums. There's a Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum, which is a museum with historic exhibits and experiences. The Pacific Fleet Submarine Museum, which is a museum that's part of the Pearl Harbor Historic Site Visitor Center. The USS Bowfin Submarine, which is a submarine that's part of the Pearl Harbor Historic Site Visitor Center. And the USS Arizona Memorial, which is a memorial that includes a 20-minute film and a shuttle to and from the site. There's also the Battleship Missouri Memorial, which is a site where World War II treaty was signed. You can take a shuttle to the Battleship Missouri every 15 minutes from the Pearl Harbor Historic Sites Visitor Center. We visited all the 4 museums, and we will be releasing those videos shortly.
I don't think so. That boat will survive.
The Road to War exhibit at the Pearl Harbor National Memorial Visitor Center in Honolulu, Hawaii, is a free museum that explains how Japan came to attack Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. This exhibit includes period artifacts, historical news footage, images of American life before the war, and personal memorabilia. There are also kiosks where visitors can hear stories from people who witnessed the events. The Pearl Harbor Visitor Center also has an attack exhibit that details what happened on the morning of the attack, and a 23-minute documentary film about the attack that plays every 15 and 24 minutes past the hour. We have included that video at the end of this video, so please don't forget to watch it.
Or a target, but they did hit with the local civic plate in a place where heavy shot.
On the morning of December 7, 1941, Japan attacked the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The surprise attack by some 350 Japanese aircraft sunk or badly damaged 18 U.S. naval vessels, including 8 battleships, destroyed or damaged 300 U.S. aircraft, and killed 2,403 men.
where they came from, what their families were like. She was always impressed as almost
Ella, it's under the bottom of the ocean. Fool. This is the ship. It's under. It's
This
still
is
under.
it. It's right
No,
there.
no, this is the ship. It's underwater. There was a picture there. This is just a memorial. See this right above.
So rusted.
Let me-
was on the brink of achieving the improbable surprise. The idea came from Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto. War between Japan and the United States seemed inevitable. But Japan had little chance of winning unless the U.S. fleet in Hawaii could be destroyed. For a year, Yamamoto and his staff worked on a secret plan. Knock out the fleet, cripple American air power, conquer the Southwest Pacific before the U.S. could recover. A huge task force had to sail undiscovered in radio silence for over 4,000 miles, 12 days. Aircraft carriers would send out 2 waves of planes to strike in tandem with 5 midget submarines launched from large submarines stationed south of Oahu. It was a bold gamble. Oahu was the home of the American fleet, a strategic hub of the entire Pacific. The island was rich in targets, but the attack faced the formidable air power of Oahu's 6 airfields. Yet 350 planes now soared toward the island. So far, no one had come to stop them. It was a quiet Sunday morning at Pearl Harbor, but there were signs. Warnings had come from Washington. War with Japan was imminent. Many expected a Japanese attack, but not here, not on Oahu. Early that morning, the American destroyer Ward spotted a partially submerged craft outside the harbor. It was one of the midget submarines. The Ward fired twice, and upon passing, dropped a barrage of 4 depth charges. A few minutes later, 7:02 a.m., 2 privates at the Opana radar station saw a bright spike rise on the screen. The sighting was the biggest that they had ever seen. But a lieutenant told them not to worry. Some B-17 bombers were due in from the U.S. mainland. That was probably all it was. Not far away, Commander Mitsuo Fuchida, leading the first wave of 183 planes, knew he was close to Oahu, but clouds blocked his view. Then suddenly, there it was. Blue water, white surf, an island like a green jewel. Minutes later, Fuchida spotted it through his binoculars. Over 185 vessels, a row of battleships tethered in pairs. It was 7:53. Fuchida's radio man transmitted a coded telegraph message. Tora, Tora, Tora. It meant complete surprise achieved. Air bases first. The Japanese plan was meticulous and systematic. Crush American air power before it can get off the ground. Strike the American fighter planes first to gain control of the air. Then hit the long-range patrol planes and bombers so the Japanese task force at sea could not be located and attacked. Dive bombers came screaming down to bomb and then straight. Then fighter planes, machine guns and cannons blazing. Neat rows of American planes burst into flame. The attack struck air bases at Wheeler Field, then Kaneohe Bay, Pearl Harbor, Hickam Field, Eva, and later Bellows. The placid Sunday was a sudden inferno. At 7:58, the radio operator at Pearl Harbor flashed out the message in plain English. Air raid, Pearl Harbor. This is no drill. Too late. The Japanese had command of the air. In 15 devastating minutes, they'd crippled American air power in Hawaii. Just before 8 o'clock, 16 torpedo bombers dipped down and spread out, flying less than 50 feet above the water. The ships below prepared for morning colors. Military bands prepared to play the Star-Spangled Banner. A sailor looked up and wondered why the Army was holding a drill on a Sunday. But it was no drill. Torpedoes dropped into the water at close range and churned toward the ships. The U.S. Navy believed the harbor was too shallow for torpedoes, but not for these. The Japanese had made torpedoes that could be launched in 40 feet of water. On ship after ship, a roar below decks, a lurch, a huge water geyser 600 feet into the air, then a choking cloud of vapor, oil, and smoke. Torpedoes ripped holes below. The battleships West Virginia and Oklahoma each took 9 in the gut. 2 more blasted California. Another struck Nevada. Oklahoma listed sharply. Water rose. Emergency lights went out. Men trapped below cried out in darkness. Above them, more torpedoes slammed home. The ship seemed safe. Those on the inside of the moored pairs, and the thick armor plating on their decks would surely protect them from above. But Fujita's high-level bombers each carried a single bomb, especially modified to pierce that armor. At 6 minutes past 8, it happened. A bomb crashed through Arizona's deck and penetrated the forward magazine. The magazine exploded. The ship ripped apart. A ball of fire and smoke rose over 500 feet in the air. The harbor was filled with scenes from hell. Men dove from blazing ships and swam to Ford Island, soaked with oil, their bodies burned, shocked. The first wave had succeeded. By 8:30, the planes headed back toward their carriers. Mitsuo Fuchida was satisfied. In 20 minutes, his attackers had crippled the striking power of the Pacific Fleet. He'd lost in return 9 planes. For nearly a half hour, the skies over Oahu were empty. Was it over? Not yet. Just before 9 o'clock, the second wave of Japanese planes filled the air. But again, the fighters and bombers raked airfields and air stations. Bombs exploded on the ships at Pearl Harbor. The objective of the second wave was to finish off any battleships and to destroy any American aircraft that might retaliate against the Japanese fleet at sea. In the first wave, there had been little time to fight back, but this time, despite their losses, the Americans were ready. Machine guns chattered up. Anti-aircraft fire popped the sky. A few American pilots got fighter planes into the air. The dogfights began. 20 attacking planes fell from the sky. The battleship Nevada tried to escape by sailing to sea. 23 dive bombers swarmed to attack her. After 5 direct hits, the badly damaged ship was purposefully run aground to keep the entrance channel to the harbor clear. Fires ignited by a direct hit on the destroyer Shaw detonated the forward magazine, ripping her bow completely off. Finally, the planes wheeled and flew away. It was almost 10 a.m. After 2 short and very long hours, it was over. 21 American vessels were sunk or seriously damaged. 188 planes destroyed. By nightfall, 1,158 Americans were wounded and 2,390 people were dead. 49 civilians, too, died that day, most from friendly fire. The Japanese lost just 29 planes, 5 midget submarines, and 64 men. Their improbable surprise had worked, with one hitch. No American aircraft carriers had been in port. Pearl Harbor was not a knockout blow, but the bold Japanese attack had changed warfare forever. Naval air power, not battleships, would dominate the conflict to come. The next day, President Franklin D. Roosevelt addressed Congress.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
As he spoke, the Arizona still burned. Desperate rescue workers still struggled to cut through to crew members trapped in the capsized Oklahoma. The last survivor was pulled out that same afternoon. 500 miles away, the Japanese task force was steaming home through a heavy mist. The crews were strangely quiet. The Pacific War had begun.
Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. And the next video, we're going to be visiting the USS Arizona Memorial. Bye, guys. Thank you.